ready to unleash your inner grit and find the keys to potential success? All right, welcome back everybody to this week's episode of It Takes Grit with your host, me, Rebecca Louise. I am so excited that you are back here, and I just love getting the feedback of how much this podcast is really shaping your mindset. One of the biggest things that I find that people struggle with so much in life is the way that they think. The way that we think actually controls everything. It controls our happiness. It controls our success. It controls how we behave. It controls our beliefs. And when we start to really tap in to unlocking those keys that are going to help you be successful in all areas of your life, right? Not just one area. We want to talk about finances and relationships and health and career and impact. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how do you unleash that inner grit? Because I do believe that there is a reason that all of us are here on this planet. And even though that everybody might be at a slightly different stage in life, and maybe they have gone through different experiences that have either given them more hope or maybe put them a little few steps behind. I do believe that you have something inside of you that can get you what you want. I do believe that everybody, I have to believe, right? I have to believe that if there is a reason that you are on this planet Earth, it's because there is something inside of you that when you start to tap into it and you allow it to come out, you will reach your full trajectory and you will have the things that you're after. What I've found is that a lot of people, they get set in their ways. They get stuck. And they actually get themselves stuck because they get set in their ways. And, through the month of April 2024, I got the pleasure of, having one-on-one calls with, I did over 100 calls, 107 to be precise. 107 calls, meeting new people. And I kept running into the same limiting beliefs of, will this work for me? Like, is this possible? I don't know about that. And in my head, I'm like, wow, how is this person able to look at me, look at my results, look at my lifestyle, and question me? And what I realized is nobody's questioning me. They're questioning themselves. They're questioning is this possible for me? And some people that I spoke to are like, yes, I'm all in. Let's go for it. I'm ready to work with you one-on-one, Rebecca. And some people are a little just a bit more apprehensive, even though that they want it. And so that's what I want us to work on today, right? Unleashing that inner grit, finding that same burning desire, because when you're on a call with me, you're fired up. You're ready to go. You're ready to take action. You're like, yes, I'm all in. And then time goes by. And with each day, with each minute, with each second, fear creeps into your head and you leave what I call peak state. And that inner grit decides to just slowly fade away. So I want you to really think about how you get so excited about something and then how you literally talk yourself out of getting the thing that you want. See, it is part of the magic and the mystery. And I do find it really hard to understand because my brain is just not wired that way to not believe that something is not going to work if I've got somebody that's going to mentor and coach me. And, I'm a no BS, straight up person. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And that's how today we're going to find that true meaning of grit. And that is what that true meaning of grit is saying to yourself, you know what, even though I might have fear and I might have doubt, I know that I saw something that is going to help me change my life. I saw something that's going to help me get the results that I've been looking for so long. I know I want more energy. I know I want to lose body fat. I know I want to gain more muscle. I know I want to do better for my family. So we've got to find that grit inside of you that when fear creeps in, you just keep on going. You say, you know what? I know that this is just the fear talking. This isn't actually what I want talking. This is the fear. So that true meaning of grit is deciding that you want to do something. And no matter what thoughts come into your head, you go, no, I know that this is what I want. I know that I'm capable of this because I've got someone that's going to guide me. And all I've got to do is keep searching for that grit and remembering what got me excited. So let's have a couple of strategies that are going to help develop that resilience, okay? Resilience in having setbacks. Life is all about not what happens to you, right? We talk about this all the time. It's about how you react. So you might get really excited about something. You're like, yes, I'm so gung-ho. I'm all fired up to do this, right? Whatever it is. Could be a new workout program. It could be that you want to go on this kind of vacation. It could be that you want to go to this certain event. Whatever it is. You're super fired up. And then you get these things in life that kind of question to test you if you really want that. Because if it was that easy, everybody would be super successful. If it was that easy, everybody would have the results. But the only thing that stops people getting the life that they want, and the only thing that stops people getting the results that they want, is themselves. And so we have to develop really strong strategies that are going to help you get that resilience when anytime a setback happens. So let's do a couple of examples. You're really excited about something, you're fired up, and you're gung-ho to do it. And all of a sudden, somebody else's voice says, I'm not sure about that. What does that do to you? That tells you, oh, I'm not sure about that too. And so what you start to do is you start to bring other people's opinions in. You start to bring in outside influence. So what do you need to do there? You have to go back. This is your strategy. You have to go back to the moment that you decided that you wanted to do this. You have to put yourself back in that situation, put yourself back in that environment, and remember the words that were spoken to you. Because that's going to take you back to that time, and it's going to go, oh yeah, I remember why I said yes to this. Oh, I remember why I got started. That is what I want to do, and somebody else's opinion is just their opinion. It's not a fact, and therefore they're not going to be able to get the results that I want because they don't have the results that I'm even looking for. So that's number one strategy, right? For developing that resilience is that, okay, you have that outside information come in, take yourself back to that moment when you're in peak state, and it's going to remind you why you got started. So that's number one. That's one strategy, taking yourself back. Number two is that when somebody is saying something to you that maybe is the opposite to what you want, you need to ask yourself this question. Is that true? Is that true? Because so often we have other people's opinions literally become our beliefs so fast and before we've even decided if that's true or not. So number one, take yourself back to that place. Number two, make sure that you are really remembering, is this person telling me something that is true or is it an opinion? And then number three, get back into that environment. Get back onto a call. Get back into that environment. Get back into the environment that got you excited to make the decision in the first place. Proximity is power. Those three things will change your life. Reminding yourself, get back into the environment, yourself emotionally and physically. Number two, ask other people's opinions. Is that true? And number three, reach back out to the person that gave you the inspiration, that gave you the idea, that gave you the opportunity, that gave you the solution, so they can remind you why that's so important. I love it when people bring objections to me, because an objection is just somebody's fear. It's just somebody's self-doubt. And I love helping people overcome their own fear and objections, right? So that's one big thing we want to talk about is those strategies. Use those three. How do you stay motivated when you don't see results immediately? Okay, we live in this super fast world where results are like immediate. I mean, you can order something now, a food can be delivered in 40 minutes. Your groceries can be delivered. You can get anything in the US pretty much delivered where I live within like an hour. So we want things immediately. But remember, things that come easy don't last. Those things that we work for and that we put the time in, those are the results that are going to last. Things that come way too easy, you're going to lose it. It's like if you do like a crazy diet. Yeah, of course. You are going to lose a whole bunch of weight. But are you going to keep it off? Is it going to be a healthy way to do it? Are you going to lose muscle as well? Probably. So it's so important that to stay motivated, you can't expect to get results. I don't even think you should expect to get results in 90 days. If you just have the intention, and this is how you're going to stay motivated, that you're going to do something for 90 days and you're actually going to follow the plan, you're going to stick to the plan, you're not going to deviate for the plan, you're going to do something for 90 days, not for any other reason than to prove to yourself that you can do something for 90 days. When people first get started with me, when they're getting results, whether it's their body transformation or their business, I'm like, hey, 90 days. You are brand new at the beginning. You are not meant to have a result week 1. You are not meant to be, top 1% in the first month. You have just got started. That's like trying to go to university and you've been at university for a month and you're like, why don't I have a degree yet? Because you haven't done the work. You see, so often we feel like we should know it already. Or, oh, well, it was all right for Rebecca when you first got started, you knew it. No, I didn't. When I first got started with my business, in 2013, I didn't know anything about nutrition. I didn't know anything about business. My story was created when I got started. My story was created when I got started. That's how I created the story that I have today. This is how I created the life I have today, because I had a mentor and I followed the plan. And yes, there was times where I got discouraged. I remember calling my mentor up once and I said, this doesn't work. I've called 10 people today and nobody wants to get started. I said, I don't think that my audience want this. Like, I'm going to start doing the skin line. And he's like, stick to the plan. So guess what? I had one more call left that day. I did the call, did the script, did exactly what he told me to do. And that person bought a $500 program. I remember it like yesterday. I remember the room I was sat in. I remember the call. I remember everything. And I just remember thinking, wow, they were right. So anytime that I would get discouraged, what did I do? I would reach out to my mentor, because my mentor was there to remind me that this is normal. If you haven't reached out to your mentor, or you haven't reached out to someone about like, hey, like I'm struggling with this, or I didn't get these results, or if you haven't reached out, that's on you. You need to say, hey, I did this, but this didn't work. All you need is a reminder from somebody telling you, just keep going. Just keep going. You got this. This is part of the plan. They're going to give you certainty. They're going to remind you that this is normal, and that's how you're going to stay motivated. But if you drift away from the fire, you stop showing up for things, you don't plug in, you don't contribute, you don't participate, don't expect to get any results. Don't expect to stay motivated. Motivation comes from doing, and even if you're like, hey, I'm just kind of on the sidelines right now, I'm plugging into things and I'm doing bits and pieces right here. Excellent. And you can take it up a notch. You can go faster, you can go slower. It doesn't matter. You can go on your own time. But expecting that you're going to get a result when you're brand new, it's like asking a baby to walk when they've just come out the womb. It's not going to happen. You're brand new. So when you get in your head and think, I don't even know why even people think that they should know it all. I mean, how do you know anything if you've just got started and you haven't done any of the work yet? That makes no sense. 90 days. 90 days, you plan it, you do it, you review it. After 90 days, we go back and we go, let's see what worked. Let's see what you did got results. Let's see what you didn't get results. And then guess what? Do you think that the next 90 days are going to be better? Yes. But if you have done nothing for 90 days, you can't expect to even review the work you've done and make it any better because you've done nothing. So that's why it's plan, you do the work, then we review it. So take off the pressure of yourself. How do you stay motivated? You decide you're going to do something for 90 days, no matter what. Then you're not worried about the outcome. Write this down. Don't get attached to the outcome. Just do the work. When you do the work, the results are going to follow. And that's how you're going to stay motivated, and knowing that the results are not immediate. Okay, this is kind of plays into this as well. And I want to talk about long-term goals and short-term goals, because you've got to focus on your long-term goal. If you've got a short-term goal, right, and it's to either lose 10 pounds or hit a new position or whatever it is, and you don't hit it that month, but your whole goal was to actually lose 20 pounds and your whole goal was actually to get a position 3 levels higher, why would you let that discourage you? That's just a short-term goal. No problem. We got bigger fish to fry. We got bigger goals to accomplish. No problem. You didn't hit that short-term goal in that time period. No problem. You're going to hit it next month, or you're going to hit it the month after. And in a year's time, you're going to hit something that was your long-term goal. Instead of getting so focused and so intense with a short-term goal, focus on the long term. Focus so much on long-term goals, because then the short-term goals are going to be fun little celebrations along the way, little stepping stones, right? I have a really big long-term goal. There's going to be loads of little things that I get to do along the way, but I don't need to do it right now. I don't need to worry if I didn't hit it this month, because I have my long-term goal. Where focus goes, energy flows. If you're so focused on your short-term goal, but you also have a long-term goal, and then you miss the short-term goal, are you going to feel more motivated or less motivated? You're going to feel less motivated. So let's make a decision today that to stay motivated, not worrying about those immediate results, and focusing on your long-term goal. Because when you look at the long-term goal, if you miss a little short-term goal, it's not going to bother you as much. But if you're so focused on this is my short-term goal, I need to hit this, it's so important, I've got to do this. When you don't hit it, for whatever reason, you're going to get down on yourself. You're going to feel like you're a failure. You're going to feel like you're not enough. Instead of going, no problem, I didn't hit my short-term goal, but that's just my short-term goal, that's my long-term goal. When you look at things differently, the things that you look at will change. And you have to change your mindset of that if you really want to be successful long term. Okay. And that's my story too, right? I mean, I remember when I first got started in 2013 in this business opportunity, and my long-term goal was to retire my parents. So if I had a customer that maybe fell off or somebody that quit, okay, no problem. Let me go find somebody new. Why? Because my long-term goal was to retire my parents. My short-term goal didn't matter because I was so focused on the long-term goal. And now, my parents have been retired for, 3-4 years. They get to travel around. Go follow them on Instagram, retired travel couple. They're sharing their life. They also do the business with me now. They just got started this year. They've been on the products for, my mum lost 42 pounds, kept it off for 10.5 years so far. And it's amazing. But my whole intention was to retire my parents. So if I had a challenging day, I didn't quit. Don't quit on a bad day. Just get better. For things to change, we have to change. For things to get better, we have to get better. So your little homework for today is, what are your long-term goals, right? What is the long-term goal that you want to achieve with your results, whether it's physically, whether it's relationships, whether it's business, whether it's career, whatever it is. What is your long-term goal so that we can really get your mindset on that? And then what do you need to do when you have a setback? When you start to get in your head, what's the one thing that you need to write down that's going to remind you to get focused and keep making decisions that are going to move you forward in the right direction? Okay, so they're the 2 pieces of homework today. What are your long-term goals? And then what are you going to do when you have a setback? When that setback comes in and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel it again. That setback is coming in. I'm getting information in my head and it's not really helping. What's the one thing that you need to do? I've given you a few little strategies to develop that mental resilience, but you've got to have a decision with yourself. You've got to make a choice that you are not going to allow setbacks to ruin your dreams. You're not going to allow setbacks to take you off the path that you really want for yourself. So what is the one thing that you get to do that is going to help you overcome any setbacks? Awesome job, everybody, on showing up today. Make sure that you share this with somebody. There is somebody right now that needs to hear this, that needs to find their inner grit. If you know somebody, who could be so incredible and they're just not finding their inner grit, you know that they've got something inside of them that, is ready to explode, but they just don't know how, send them this episode. It's going to make a huge, huge difference. Awesome job, everybody. Well done for showing up, and we'll see you on next week's episode.